Good evening, everyone out there. This is Daniel Crawley, forecaster for Burke Weather. Just putting out an update for this evening for Monday, the 22nd of December. It's about 6:30 p.m. with this update, and once again, we've had another dreary, overcast day across the foothills and North Carolina County coverage area of Burke, Caldwell, McDowell, and Catawba counties. Um, it's just that's kind of been the trend ever since the weekend. We've had overcast skies and temperatures have remained cool, and that's indeed happened again today on Monday. I've had the GR Earth up right now. We're going to zoom in on the area and look at what's going on. Currently, I've got the radar up. Let me put the temperatures, and we'll look at those right quick. Temperatures have actually dropped slowly throughout the day. It's amazing for folks in Hickory and Lenore and heading into Morganton. We've been in the upper 30s to around 40. It's been just a little bit warmer for folks in McDowell County, but those temperatures are still dropping just a little bit. And I think that's going to be kind of the trend through the night. These temperatures are going to hold steady, anywhere from, say, the upper 30s to around 40 as we go through the night. We're not concerned in any way about temperatures getting close to freezing, causing any kind of icing problems at this time. It looks like we will stay safely away from that, but definitely a very raw evening across the foothills. And we've had a lot of drizzle today across the region, and that's kind of picking up in intensity a little bit. And that's a little bit associated with our next storm system that's going to come through. I'm going to widen back out on the radar across the region. You can see temperatures, and there's an excellent cold air damming scenario that is set up. And if you look back up here in areas of Pennsylvania where it's below freezing, they're getting a little bit of freezing rain tonight. And that's kind of the source region. There's an area of high pressure in that general area, and it's nosed itself down the eastern slope of the mountains. And we've got all these cool temperatures, 30s across the interior Carolinas, 40s down into Georgia, South Carolina, and into parts of Alabama. But you can see down here to the south and west, we have a lot warmer weather. We have 60s and even some 70s down in Louisiana tonight. And that's an indication that the flow is really starting to shift out of the south, as we'll have an area of low pressure that's going to get ready to develop. Let's go to the model data right quick and kind of looking at the situation that we see coming up. I'll start here initially where we're at here at, I'll say 6 o'clock or so on Monday evening, and you'll see on this model data it's already got some precip trying to break out across parts of the lower Tennessee Valley, northern Alabama, northwest Georgia. That's a little bit off as far as the model and this run in particular, but it's a really good indicator of what's going to happen. The winds across the region are going to start shifting out of the south, at least the loft, and that's going to start bringing a lot more moisture into the region. And what's going to happen, I think, as you go through tonight, you'll see the drizzle get a little bit heavier, and I would say after midnight heading toward Tuesday morning, there's going to be a general area of light to, maybe some moderate rain that's developing across the foothills of West North Carolina. Of course, we'll keep you updated on that as we go through the evening. But just looking at the model here that we're going to use for this upcoming event, you'll see this is this evening at, of course, around this time, 6 o'clock. We'll progress it forward a little bit, and you can kind of see overnight moisture is starting to come in out of the south a little bit, and you're seeing on the model return here some, some precip is trying to break out over the Carolina region. As we get into tomorrow, what's going to happen is that low pressure is going to develop down in the lower Mississippi Valley region. It's going to run west of the Alps. Eventually, it's going to run up through the Tennessee Valley and up into the lower Ohio Valley. And this model is really responding as we head into tomorrow afternoon right here. Look at all that precip that's breaking out over Mississippi, Alabama, the Gulf Coast region, and even starting to get some development here across upstate South Carolina and the West North Carolina. I don't see a severe weather potential at this time all that much, especially on Tuesday, because we're still going to have a lot of cold air, and that wedge is going to be really hard to break. So I ain't really worried about that per se, but the general trend is for rainfall to really increase starting tomorrow. And when we get into say tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, it all this activity over Alabama and up in the lower Tennessee Valley, that is really starting to organize itself into a decent, I wouldn't call it a squall line, but it's going to be a good line of some strong showers, some heavy showers, and of course the farther south you are in that line, you're starting to talk probably about thunderstorms. And I will progress this up to 7 o'clock Wednesday morning here, as you can see, quite a line of activity stretching all the way down from the southern Alps in our area down to the south. One thing we'll have to watch some of this activity here in the Gulf, because if it gets really active and could block some of the moisture transport for our region. That's something we'll watch. Of course, that'll be more of an issue for us tomorrow, but mainly for like tonight and going into early tomorrow morning, it's going to be drizzle and mist, and it'll kind of develop into a light rain as we head overnight. Looking at some of the other data here, looking at the precip, of course, this is the NAM model that we use quite a bit in short range. It is really picking up on the precip. And this is later tonight, and we'll progress into tomorrow. And look here along the eastern slopes of the Alps. It's already got 3/10 in that kind of darker green shade, and then just some splashes of the blue, which would be over a ½ inch. It's kind of picking up on southerly flow a little bit. You can also see that to the southwest of us across the southern escarpment west of the Asheville area. This model usually does a good job at this, and it kind of shows what we think could happen. So I think areas that'll start picking up on rainfall will be those areas along the eastern slopes of the mountains. So folks in northern western McDowell, northwestern Burke, northern Caldwell, kind of keep an eye on that. Your rain will kind of develop overnight, and we'll get a little bit steadier as we head into tomorrow. And then as we get into the meat of this whole system going into Wednesday, look at these totals really blossom. And I'm right here at 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. Look at all this rain. There's a pretty decent southerly upslope that's going to develop, at least aloft. Not as much at the surface, but aloft. And you can see that's quite a bit of rain that's starting to make its way into the region. And I'll keep progressing all the way through, and we'll go to say this is 7 o'clock Wednesday night. I mean, that's some pretty good totals on this model per se. That might be a little bit high. We'll kind of keep an eye on that, but you can kind of get the gist of what's going to happen. Things are really going to pick up tomorrow, and as we head into Wednesday, Christmas Eve, which is not going to be the best weather out there for Christmas Eve, but just kind of hang with it, because this should slide out of here, and at least Christmas Day is looking pretty good. I'm going to pull up the temperatures, and I'll tell you, the NAM's doing a really good job. What I've got here is actually at this current time, it's doing a great job at showing those 30s just to our north and northeast, and then sliding into Burke, McDowell County according to this model. So that's really doing a good job compared to what we actually have verifying right now. This is the big thing that I think that will prevent any kind of severe weather potential, because there's going to be pretty good jet dynamics sliding through the region. This is going to be a pretty healthy trough that's sliding through. Of course, we talked about that the last few days, and the video I put out yesterday talked about this is going to be a pretty strong system. The fact that we got all this cold air dammed up against the eastern slopes of the Alps is really going to do a good job, I think, in restricting any kind of severe weather potential that we could have in our region. So I'm thinking, it's going to be more of a steady rain. And even if you look here, this is at noon tomorrow. Temperatures are still solidly low 40s across the region. And as we keep going, it's hard to break. And, we're going into like 7 o'clock here on this map for Tuesday evening. And we'll keep progressing forward. And once we get to overnight, Tuesday night into Wednesday, you can start to see a little bit of that wedge eroding for like upstate South Carolina, Charlotte metro area. You can see that warmer air is trying to take over, and as we keep progressing through this as we head into Wednesday, like here's Wednesday 7 o'clock, that wedge is really starting to kind of break down, not really for us, but for areas just to the south. It'll be interesting to see if it occurs this quickly, as the model's saying. I will give it some, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt right now because it's doing a good job with the current temperature setup. We'll see, how accurate is it 36 to 42 hours down the road, and then I'll just progress it just a little bit more. And here is like Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and that wedge is barely holding on for our region. But even for our viewers in like the extreme southern part of Catawba County, you're breaking out into sunshine right there. I believe that might be like Sherrills Ford area, closer to Lake Norman as you head into Mecklenburg and Lincoln County. You're breaking out into the 60s all of a sudden, while Hickory is still in the mid 40s and Lenore's about the same. So, that's something we'll keep an eye on. I think, like I said, I think the severe weather potential is going to be pretty small. But if this wedge were to break a little bit faster, you can't rule it out. But that's kind of what we're looking at this evening. Thank you for watching this video. As always, we appreciate you watching our products on Burke Weather, McDowell, Catawba, and Caldwell County weather. Give us any feedback on these videos. We'd like to know what you think of the videos that we put out. This is stuff we're going to do a little bit more in the future. Especially when we start getting to significant weather events as we head through the winter and even in the next year when we head into spring and so on. But again, just a recap. The skies are remaining cloudy throughout the night. It's going to be some drizzle, some light rain starting to develop, especially closer to the mountains as we head through the overnight and into tomorrow. And Tuesday still looks pretty raw. And then as we head into Tuesday night, Wednesday, we will really kind of hit the main part of this storm system that's coming through. Rainfall looks like it could be, a pretty good rainfall. Some areas in excess of 1 inch. But that's the way it's looking right now, and hopefully this will clear out for Christmas Day. Again, we thank you for watching this video. Make sure to check us out online on burkeweather.org. Also on Facebook on the Burke Weather, McDowell, Caldwell, and Catawba Weather page. Y'all have a good evening.